And that, my students, is how we all should fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ambient dialogue from the first Assassin's Creed game just lives rent-free in my head.
Why?
Because I have played that game so many times.
Assassin's Creed?
Like I've finished it a good half dozen times. And just... Yeah.
I just love that, like, nothing to actually do with the gameplay or whatever, but I remember seeing this post about this, like, school trip that went to Italy, I think it is. Is that where one of the games is based?
The second and third games, yes.
Yeah, so they got, like, lost on their school trip or whatever, and one of the kids, like, guided them around back to where they needed to go, and they were like, oh, have you been here before? And he's like,
yes.
No. I know the map.
Hell yeah.
I know the map.
Hell yeah.
I know where all the objectives are, mate.
Yeah, he, like, guided them back to where they needed to be just because he played the game so often. He was like,
Nice.
this
Fucking
looks
hell.
so familiar.
That's quite cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny seeing that massive tower in Florence that's like next to the cathedral.
Yeah.
And thinking, like in documentaries or whatever, and just looking at it and thinking, I've jumped off of that. takes a long time to hit the ground.
Yeah. Oh, man. Pretty much.
Leap of faith, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Assassin's Creed movie, and it was a really good movie to me because I'd never played the games. Because I didn't know.
It was like completely disconnected from the games.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me.
Yeah, it's
See, it's called ignorance is bliss.
Not gonna
like
Yeah.
because I didn't know any of the games or whatever. Like, to me, it was like a pretty good movie. I was like, this is pretty solid, and everyone else was going on about like, what? I thought this was an Assassin's Creed movie. What?
Yeah, I think as an introduction
Incarnation.
to the franchise, it works all right.
Yeah.
As a part of the franchise as it exists, it fails utterly.
Yeah.
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 That's the thing. I feel like if you're gonna change it that, like, creative license, yeah, but if you're gonna change it that much, just don't say it's a part of the franchise. Just be like, it's a themed assassin, whatever.
Pretty much.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be like, this is from, like, based on the games, because everyone would be like, well, no.
Yeah,
it's not.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
A little bit. The Abstergo's motives make no sense in the film.
Yeah.
Like considering like in universe what they were doing in the games at that point in time, it's just completely disconnected. Doesn't make any sense in context with what came before it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we've had this little debate because it kind of ties into the topic for this week. So, hello guys, and welcome to this episode of the podcast on the ZeroFunction Podcast. I am your host this week. I'm Jen, if you are new here, and we've got Conall and Lee.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, hello. So, why this ties in is because what we are doing today is arguing over some unpopular opinions.
No. Why have
Okay.
you done this to
So-
us?
All right.
The unpopular opinion was me saying it's a good movie, and you guys being like, no.
Scum.
Yeah, pretty much. So it like tied in. It tied in
Scum.
quite well.
I'll just say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed various aspects of it. Yeah, just but as an overall product,
Yeah.
not for me.
It was weak
As a
part
fan of the games, not for
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
I have not seen the franchise, so I thought it was fantastic.
Weaker than Unity even.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I like Unity.
Unity was one of the installations of the game series.
okay.
Yeah, it was the
It was in
seventh game.
Paris during the French Revolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a leap ahead in graphical quality, and it made some really good changes to the gameplay and control schemes. The story itself was utter dog. It had no consequence. They were looking for an artifact that by the end of the game, they figured out it was in a place where no one would ever find it, so it didn't matter.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just
That's the
stupid.
thing,
But they reworked some of the basic concepts for Syndicate, which was the next year's game, and
Yeah.
that was... Syndicate is really good. If you haven't played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, go play it.
I haven't
Also,
played
the
it.
Jack the Ripper DLC is fantastic.
Speaking of...
Right, please
um,
continue. I'm done. I
yeah,
promise.
no, but like, speaking of the... what did you say? No consequence. Here's another unpopular opinion. It's not one that I had, but Gone with the Wind, overrated.
Not seen it.
Gone with the
haven't seen
Wind.
it
So
either.
most of our generation probably wouldn't have. It's like super popular with like our parents and things like that. But without, I was gonna say without spoiling too much, but let's be fair, you probably won't watch it. It's a 4-hour long movie made in 50 something. I think like it's an old movie.
Yeah, full
Yeah.
in black and white as well. Yeah.
I think it was the late.
It's Technicolor.
I think it was the late 40s. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's no, it's Technicolor.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's basically I think it's such a waste of time because where she is in the she's like this rich girl who like doesn't really care about people, and she goes through this big journey. There's the war and all sorts of jazz. At the end of the 4 hours, she ends up right back at where she was at the start, like in terms of life. Like she's alone again because she ends up having a family. She has riches. She loses her riches, and she just ends up right back at the start of where she was in the beginning of the 4 hours. And I was so mad. I was like, I've just wasted 4.5 hours of my life for literally no gain. Like, it's not like she lost everything and that's kind of like it. Like, there's no progression. It's not like she, like, if there was like a grind, like, and a purpose to get back or whatever, but there kind of isn't. She just loses all her riches because of the war. She's like, well, I'm going to get it back. And she just does the same way that she had it in the first place.
Right.
So you're just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay. No, I absolutely understand where you're coming from because going back to Assassin's Creed, Unity, I did not give a shit about any of the characters.
Well, like, she's also like this like prima donna, like she's kind of like the person that everyone wants but nobody can have. Like she's always like, I'm never going to get married, I'm never going to get married. And she gets married because she kind of has to because she's broke.
Right.
And in the end, her husband leaves her again because she's a bitch, essentially.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
she ends up alone again,
right?
But she still thinks she's that like young thing.
So
that everyone...
she has no character arc, basically.
Yeah, but the whole thing is based around her life, so it's like
no depth, just a brick wall.
Essentially, yeah. There's just no gain.
Okay.
So there's another movie that often gets that criticism. Probably not as widely beloved as Gone with the Wind, but Pacific Rim. Okay, Pacific Rim. Fantastic movie. Just
it's great.
Like solid story, brilliant effects work, creature design, all of that. The main character has no character arc.
Yeah.
Like Raleigh is exactly the same at the end of the film as he is at the beginning because he's not the protagonist. Like he's the main character, but he's not the protagonist. Mako is the protagonist.
Yeah.
Like she is the one who goes through the character arc. If you watch the film with that in mind, it's a much more fulfilling experience.
He's kind of just assisting, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
he's there. He is there to facilitate her character development.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his story gives context to the world and to her character arc. Yeah.
He's kind of just like the setup.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Is the second movie based around her though?
No, she appears briefly, but
Yeah.
the second movie is about Stacker's biological son. So she is his adoptive daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his biological son, played by John Boyega, is the main character of the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the second one yet.
Good.
I've
It's
not
pretty weak.
seen it. Well, because Del Toro didn't work on it, did he?
Didn't he?
No, it was a different director.
Yeah, I don't like it that much.
That's the thing that always sucks. Like, they're called prequels, right? Yeah. Prequel? Sequel?
Sequels, yes.
Sequels,
You got it.
I feel like the second movie in every sequel is just trash. Like, they bring it back with the third one sometimes if they do a third one, but the second one, for some reason, is just always trash.
Most of the time, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
There are exceptions.
Well, like,
Again,
there are exceptions.
Again,
but...
turning this unofficially into a Captain America podcast, The Winter Soldier is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I really like the first Captain America movie. Like, it's really
Winter
good.
Soldier is one of my favorites.
Yeah, the first movie does a really good job of taking like a pulpy, propaganda-y character that you wouldn't really think would work on screen and
I feel like it was
making it work.
like
And
it
it's
was
a really good story too.
Very simple. It was like a simple story at the same time, and it was kind of just like anybody could like it.
Yeah,
And then the Winter Soldier was a lot darker, but it was a lot more in depth. I feel like
the first one is a pulpy adventure war movie with really likable characters and a
Winter
simple
Soldier
story.
is the second one, isn't it?
Winter Soldier is the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is a complete left turn in tone.
it's a whole different beast.
And
Well, it's because it's
like
all modern day. So it's just it's literally taken a 70-year jump. And it's kind of like,
the themes are different. I think the writing is tighter. The action choreography, just by virtue of it being a more like set in a more modern era, it showed like the first film, really did evoke those kind of Indiana Jones serial style films that you used to get, whereas the second one, Winter Soldier, is a lot more of an action espionage thriller.
I never actually thought of that before. Like if you aren't a fan of like the Marvel universe, but like maybe you saw the first Captain America and you're like, oh, I'll watch the second one.
Yeah.
You're going to be, like, given whiplash because you're just going to be like, what the hell is so different?
Actually, like, not watching... If you just went from the first Avenger to the Winter Soldier without watching the Avengers in between, I think it would still work.
It would still work, but it's just completely different themes. And
well, the first film ends with Steve, waking up in modern-day New York.
Have a date.
Yep. And like being greeted by Nick Fury and all that.
Yeah.
And then the second film begins with him having been in the modern world for a year, 2 years, and like kind of adjusting to it. So I think it follows on pretty cleanly without having that
I feel like it'd be a
little
little confusing with some of the characters maybe, but other than that, maybe not.
Well,
because obviously the whole
Black Widow,
Bucky, Winter Soldier, you'd be like, but Black Widow, that would be a little confusing, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
I don't remember how they meet.
Other than that, I think it'd be pretty...
Avengers. They meet on the helicarrier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think if you take it as
you'd be able to figure it out.
She is a SHIELD agent that he is partnered with and working with.
Yeah.
And
it's
that's
like reading a new book though. Like when it's like said such and such, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is a new character that I'm gonna learn about. Cool.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's like you just take it that they're working together, they know each other. Okay, and she's given a. Honestly, I think the Winter Soldier does a pretty good job of setting up who Natasha is in relation to Steve's story.
Yeah. That
you don't really need the previous films to understand that.
I completely forgot that she was in Iron Man.
Yeah, she's in the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where she's introduced.
Yeah, she's like the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
she turns up at the start of the film as Natalie Rushman, SHIELD liaison to Stark Industries.
She's got like super curly, like red hair.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
and then at the end of the movie, takes down 5 guys in that hallway fight while Happy decks one of them.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's a great scene.
I'm gonna say Happy held his own.
Honestly,
he took that guy down.
Yeah, because he's a security guard, but he's not like.
Yeah, he's like a bodyguard, assistant driver kind of.
Yeah, he's not like an assassin. So
no. Yeah. Happy is maybe one of the most underrated characters in the MCU.
Honestly, yeah.
I love Happy, and like the fact that he's played by Jon Favreau,
also
who is like nerd god at the moment.
Yeah,
him when he was younger, he was
Jon Favreau
built.
Yeah, like even on the first Iron Man film, he's still like pretty good looking.
He was a jock, man.
I really did like see him in Spider-Man and stuff because he was in those films a fair bit. Or at least the first one. I don't know about the other one.
He's in Far From Home a fair bit.
Is he? I haven't watched it, so.
I mean, because he has that whole thing going with Aunt May. Yeah, because like they're having that on again, off again, flirty relationship thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then he comes and picks Peter up in Holland at the end.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of following.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's some gaps in my knowledge there, I must admit.
Yeah, I really like the role that he fills in that in
That wasn't the type of photo
Far
I was
From
looking
Home.
for, but I was like, oh, that's more of the thing. Like that's him in Friends.
Jeez.
He is.
Have you seen him in Daredevil, the 2003 film with Ben Affleck? That's his name. Batfleck.
Possibly. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Write that down. I put down notes for when I need put things in the video, or I'm gonna forget.
Oh,
you're gonna put things up on the screen, are you?
I have been.
Okay, good, awesome.
Which helps.
All right.
Speaking of Marvel, before we get away from that,
fair.
Loki. Watch the first episode.
Yes.
I was very happy with how they worked the DB Cooper thing in.
This is following on from last week's podcast.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it,
does anyone mind minor spoilers?
Nah. I don't. So, Spoiler alert, if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to this time code here, which Conall will have to put in.
Okay.
Shit, okay.
You can just listen back to it and put it in. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's not that hard to add time code.
very minor spoilers. It has no bearing on the overall story, really. But back during the 60s, Loki was challenged by Thor and Heimdall as a prank to basically get on this plane and steal this money. Right? It was a prank between them. And,
Wait, so this was is this essentially their first time coming to Earth?
I mean, aside from like 1500 years ago when they, were initially worshipped as gods.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's presented as a flashback of Loki being the god of mischief. Trickster. Yeah, overall, I was happy with how they depicted it. There were some inaccuracies. For example, they depicted the entire thing happening during the day, when, as we know, the plane touched down at Seattle-Tacoma Airport about an hour after sunset.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of the plane in the middle
of a storm.
Like in the middle of the night, yeah. He wasn't wearing wraparound sunglasses. He was, like, in the show, he was wearing Wayfarers for some reason.
Maybe they got a brand deal.
I guess because they looked like Wayfarer style.
Yeah.
But I guess it just looked better on screen.
Probably.
Yeah, there were some other minor things with the flight attendant not being in the cockpit when he jumped. Just little things like that. But yeah, the like initial shot where he like passes her the note and says, "You might want to read that. I have a bomb." Like that was brilliant. Loved it.
Oh, so that was all
nice.
like added and
Yeah. It's like a good 60-second sequence of just like just like a little montage kind of thingy of him doing it. Yeah, and then he jumps out and the Bifrost comes down from the sky and picks him up as he jumps out. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I like how they worked that in. I kind of like that it wasn't a major plot point.
Hey, the Bifrost would explain how he disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just really minor
When
nitpicks.
Loki's version of the story is more accurate than what actually happened.
Oh, it absolutely wasn't. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Also, the show itself is really good and highly recommend. Have watched the first episode. Second episode will be out when this episode airs. When this airs, but yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's very nice. Neato.
Highly recommend.
Well, still going on to shows and things like that. Our first official unpopular opinion is Friends was not a good show.
Agree. Well, okay, no. Before anyone gets mad at me for that.
See, this is why
I haven't watched Friends, right? But
like at all?
No. But I've seen stuff online about how there was some undertones that weren't exactly quite.
I mean, it was the 90s, you know.
Yeah, it was the 90s, so you can give it some leeway. It's like I guess how people like look back at like people's Twitter feeds or like things they go and be like, you can't say
the whole James Gunn controversy.
It's like it was a whole different time.
Yeah,
but
everything comes back to Marvel.
I guess it's the same with Friends, but like it's still like, but I haven't watched it, so I can't really comment.
You have to. I think it's great. It's hilarious. Honestly, just the fact that there's 6 different main characters. Like it's not a main character and their friends. Like there's 6 main characters and it follows all their lives and they do it so well. Like it's all balanced. It's not more one than the other or whatever. And I just think it's a good show. Like it's nice. It's an easy watch. Like it's not particularly brilliant or whatever. Like it's a good.
It's comfort food.
Yeah.
So we stayed with Danny and I stayed with Kellen, our brother, in Wellington once. And he and his flatmates were in the middle of like working through Friends.
Yeah.
And we watched an episode with them. It was the one where they were playing football and like pick up football in the courtyard?
I know exactly which one. They have the Ukraine Russian lady.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then it ends with the siblings.
They're still sitting outside,
going,
and they don't have Thanksgiving dinner because they're still sitting outside.
And they like
football. See, I know.
There's like a childhood toy that they toss in the trash.
The Gala trophy.
Yeah, something like that.
Gala cup, and it's a 2x4 with a Trolls doll staple.
It was something like that. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, that is. Aside from random clips, that's the only episode of Friends that I've seen. I didn't laugh once. Like I just did not find it funny. It was that like American style of humor.
Yeah,
you know.
To be fair,
with the laugh track.
Like I grew up on Monty Python and that kind of
true.
thing.
English humor.
Blackadder.
I prefer English humor. Yeah, humor. I prefer English humor, but I still I can get behind Friends.
I mean, there's definitely
you have to watch like better episodes. There are better episodes that you actually do laugh.
Okay,
Chandler is the comedic relief. Like that is his character, and I know so like they are like scripted jokes obviously and things like that. But there were many jokes that he just threw in because he could, like that's his character, so he can just rewrite whatever. And there are certain points where you can tell it wasn't scripted because you can see the other characters just trying not to laugh. They're just like, nope.
fair enough.
Cool,
I love watching. Honestly, I just love watching bloopers online. Like Always Sunny has the best bloopers.
Oh my god!
And any compilation,
so
of comedians on SNL,
Always Sunny?
like breaking character. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's so good.
It's basically five. I hesitate to call them friends.
Yeah, they're something.
Acquaintances. 5 acquaintances who are just trash people.
They're just inept.
It's been going for like 12 seasons now, and it's still funny.
Wow.
I've seen.
I can't watch episodes in full because cringe humor. I can't. Cringe humor.
No, I get it.
Hurts me. Like it feels like it's physically hurting me, and I have to turn it off. But I can watch like small clips and whatnot. I can't watch The Office because of that.
Yeah,
like, Michael.
I've never seen The Office.
I'm about partway through season 3 of The Office.
Yeah.
Also,
there we go. That's another
very,
overrated opinion.
I'm really enjoring it.
I'm
really enjoying The Office.
Overrated.
I like it.
Well, it's the same as Game of Thrones and things like that. I just never got into it. I was just like, yeah. Like,
Here's an unpopular opinion. Karen is fine. Karen Filippelli on The Office, played by Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
People hated her.
Wait, which one's
when
Karen?
it was airing? She's the girl that woman, sorry, that Jim kind of gets together with after he transfers away from Scranton.
Yeah.
And when the show was airing, people hated Karen.
Really?
Simply because she wasn't Pam. I suppose, like,
People
now
really
that the
do simp over Pam,
Yeah.
like, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, look, I suppose now that the show's over and like I know like where these characters end up.
yeah.
Watching it back now for the first time is like I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like
I don't see a problem with it.
Do you know how many people
Karen's
want a second? Well, I don't know how many seasons there are, but like they want The Office to continue.
No, it should.
And what's the character?
It'll be
what's
ruined if
the
it continues.
actor's name who plays the main character?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. He was just like, we literally couldn't do it again because people nowadays are so like pansy.
There are some early episodes that you could not air today.
Like
No,
that's the thing.
it's the episode where they're in the office and it's like a cultural meeting or whatever. He's got the stickers, people's heads, and they have to like pretend
what season is that?
to be that stereotype. I'm pretty sure it's the first season where Michael they had
Yes, I remember
they
that.
had to switch his character for the second season because in the first season he was more portrayed as like slimy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
And they
written.
completely switched up his character.
Well, he was in the first season because obviously the US office is an adaptation of the UK office.
Yeah.
Where the boss was played by Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
So for the first season of the American office, they wrote Michael Scott to be a lot like
Ricky
David
Gervais.
Brent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who was Gervais' character. So yeah, he's got that disgusting haircut, like slicked back.
But it doesn't work. See,
and he's real mean to everyone.
when Americans try and do English humor, it just doesn't work. Like the accent and everything, you could say the exact same line, the exact same joke, but the delivery, it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, which is like, I think they did the pilot. The pilot was almost 1-for-1 a remake of the UK pilot.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the season, they did actually like write their own episodes. Like they took situations from the UK version, but they wrote their own original scripts.
If they're making a new show, can they really just re-film them like that?
Yeah, because I mean, it's complicated, I suppose. Because what else have the Americans adapted
So much
from the UK? I'm thinking specifically like shows. Like
yeah,
The
I'm
Office.
thinking like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and things like that, but like
It's
I
not
can't
quite
think
the
of like
same.
scripted shows.
I mean, they
a lot of
definitely
things.
are
Yeah.
out there, but I'm just blanking on No,
There's a lot of like hospital shows, like like Grey's Anatomy and things like that.
yeah.
Like,
Did you know that the Good Doctor is actually a Korean medical drama?
no.
Yeah, and then they adapted it for American TV.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
Americans
apparently
stealing
quite good.
everything.
Well, I appreciate a lot of the good ones, like take the concept and make it their own.
Yeah.
Like they don't just retread
Yeah.
the original show, which is what I appreciate about the American Office, is that it is fundamentally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you might have some of the same character archetypes, but they did alter them enough that it's different. And like Michael Scott, like you were saying, he went through a massive change. Like he still retained a lot of that personality from the first season, but I think going into the second season, they
changed
made
up his
sure.
appearance, especially.
Yeah.
Like here, I think in the first season, like his suit didn't fit properly, but they specifically made it so it just didn't look right. But then the second season, they fixed it up and made him actually look neat.
Well, it was also between the first and second seasons, he was filming the 40-Year-Old Virgin, so he actually got in shape. Like he was a little pudgy in the first season, but then he got in shape for the movie, and then came back to film the second season, and they were like, "Oh no, he's hot."
Oh no.
But that's okay because we're writing him to be a more sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually wrote him to have redeeming qualities.
Damn.
Like, I think it was, one of the notes that the writers got from the network was that he had to start giving actually good advice to people. like they just gave him redeeming qualities, and obviously it worked.
Didn't they really set up in the show? It was just like every time he actually gave good advice, people would be like, "What?" Like, they'd be surprised pretty much every time it happened.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, he's still a little slimy. Like he has moments with Pam, especially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
yeah.
I do like the only thing I have seen from The Office is like I do kind of like their like deadpans to the camera, how they're just kind of like
Yeah.
Jim's like camera asides are legendary.
Brilliant.
There's one where... No, there's one where head office dictates that all employee relationships need to be cleared by HR. Like they need to be reported to HR. And Michael is telling this to the bullpen, and is it Phyllis? Phyllis pipes up with, "Even one night stands?" And Jim gives this amazing look to the camera. He's just like, like wide-eyed, just like,
hold up.
Like, who has Phyllis been having a one night stand with in this office?
Yeah, it's like oh damn,
so good.
oh shit.
Yeah,
Panic.
like I honestly,
Pammy, and I was like, what?
honestly, I occasionally do the same thing at work because we have a couple of security cameras in the department. So whenever someone does something especially stupid, I'll just kind of give like a disapproving look to the camera.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's me every time I see a camera. I'm just like,
Yeah.
so,
I kind of stare off in the distance.
I've definitely done it in podcasts. Like you'll be saying something and I'll be like,
Oh, I definitely do it.
Yeah.
It's just fun, breaking that fourth wall.
Mm.
Yeah, we see you.
Right. What next? Next time?
What next? Okay.
My back. Oh my god.
My back.
Shut the fuck up.
My anxiety attack.
Too real. Back it up.
Ooh, that was a good crack. Crack-a-lackin'.
That's some good crack,
That's
eh?
the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Picked it up and it was the wrong way. I'm like, what?
Okay, so next, this one's like quite a pretty much. I
Divisive?
feel like the only people that care are the people that like talk about this. So
Okay.
Samsung Galaxy is a superior phone. Y'all just give in to the hype and don't want to be shamed for having an Android. The only people who care are iPhone users.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
Samsung Galaxy is actually a superior phone. Y'all just give into the hype and don't want to be shamed for having an and don't want to be poor shamed for having an Android.
Okay. I feel like
we
I
all
feel
have
like
Androids, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you
I have an iPhone. I feel like I am qualified to answer this because my personal phone is an iPhone, but the supervisor's phone at work is it's one of those cheapo Samsungs.
Yeah.
Did I say Samsung? Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I flubbed it. Which honestly I wouldn't be surprised by. I just don't like the Samsung UI. Really, I prefer the iPhone UI.
Sorry, what?
User interface.
Oh, okay.
Like the way that everything's laid out.
Yeah.
In the operating
I
system.
hate not having a back button.
Yeah, I really like the back button.
like it's such a simple thing, but like just give me a back button.
So great.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. I just don't like the way that things are laid out on the
Also,
Samsung
just using the
operating
internet.
system.
Like you don't just have Google. You have like Safari or some.
Yeah, but it uses like it's the Safari browser, but it uses Google. You know.
Yeah, I know, but like I just want to go onto my home screen and tap Google. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, if I've been saying this for a while, but if Microsoft brings xCloud to New Zealand, I will probably switch to Samsung.
I don't know what xCloud is.
It's the Xbox game streaming service.
Right.
Yeah, so like,
Okay.
I already have a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So basically, if they bring the service to the country, and you have, because Apple bitches and won't allow won't allow iCloud on the phone because all the games have to have separate entries in the App Store. Yeah, basically.
That's another thing that bugs me about iPhones. Is there's so many good apps, but they're like, but you have to have an iPhone.
See, I don't use apps. It's basically
I'm talking
Reddit, and that's it.
See, but I'm talking about like I really want Procreate, which is a drawing app, but you can only use it on Mac.
Okay, fair enough.
I think, and I'm like, so I have to buy an iPad now to get Procreate. Just because there are Android versions, but they're not as not versatile. What's the word I'm looking for? Like Procreate's just more widely known, so there's more information about it, so it's easier to learn because so many people use it.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's kind of along the same lines. Like obviously, I like the PC because it's running on Windows, you know, and I don't like the Mac operating system. I really fucking hate the Mac operating system, and it's kind of the same with this because it's more like a Windows operating system to me as well. At the same time,
yeah,
like it feels like you got less limits on it.
Yeah,
there's more you can do with it.
Okay. Right.
I guess.
I almost bought when I first started editing videos, I almost bought a Mac purely because I wanted iMovie. Because everyone talks about iMovie when they first start editing videos and things like that.
Right.
So there was so much information about iMovie. But then when I was like, because obviously I just had my normal like laptop and things, so I was looking for like editing software. And there's thousands of them, but like there's just not enough information of them because everyone was just using iMovie.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just like, am I really about to go buy a Mac just so I can have iMovie, just purely because I don't know what to buy? But I mean, I ended up doing like a lot of research to find, and I mean, I like my editing software that I use now, but like it just took so much more research because like not many people use it because everyone's just like iMovie, Mac, because there's so much hype about it. There's so more information, but then it's like you have to buy this one product for this one item, and I'm like,
like absurd. Honestly, as not a tech guy, I really don't care.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like if it does what I need it to do, great.
I mean, it's the same with the Samsung for me as well.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
Like, those are generic things.
I mean, you know, it's what I have. I'm in the ecosystem. You know, it's like
I just really want Procreate because I mean, I like my drawing and things like that, but there's just so many things that you can't do in reality that you can do in like digital drawings and things like that. And because my mum's always just like, well, you could paint that. I'm like, yeah, in 20 years. Like, there's just some things that would just take so many layers and whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, if I buy an iPad to get Procreate, then I have to try and figure out how to transfer that to my phone, which is a Samsung. Like, it's just such a hassle.
There is a webcomic that I read called Sam and Fuzzy. It's been running since like 2003. But like for its entire run, the artist, Sam Logan, he has drawn it on paper. Yeah, he does like he has these massive sheets of paper that he uses, and he does all the line work and inking on paper, and then scans it and does all the like blocking and like shading and all that digitally.
I know quite a few people who do that. Like same with just drawing portraits and things like that. They'll draw the portrait and like basic line work, take a photo of it, and then just do the line work over there. I don't know why, but a lot of people do.
Oh, fair enough.
I've seen quite a few, and then they'll put all the color and art. See, just even colors and things like that. There's just certain colors that you can't replicate with paint, or if you do, it's going to take so much longer than just being like, I want this color.
Yeah.
Or like glow effects. Glow effects are so hard to paint. You can, but like you got to like put the paint down, and you got to use water. But you got to use the right amount of water. Because if you use too much water, then it just becomes a blur, and then you got to dab it back, or you could just get a brush and go blur.
Yeah.
Like there's so many like I love like neon and like UV paintings and things like that. And my mom's like, "Oh, you've got UV paint." I'm like, not quite the same, but
actually, there's a YouTube channel that I watch called Nerdforge. It's I think she's Norwegian. I don't know. This Scandinavian woman. Her name's Martina, and she makes she does a lot of like bookbinding and leatherwork and cosplay stuff, and painting, obviously, because I'm about to talk about an amazing painting that she did. It was like a cyberpunk inspired painting, like of like this city street.
Yeah.
And she used UV paint on it, so it would like glow different colors under a black light. It was super cool. Like she did all the neon signs and stuff with this UV paint. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like it can be done. It's just that I'm just not that skilled and I could skill up if I had the time, but I don't have time to sit there for 2 months figuring out how to paint UVs.
Like, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wish, even if it was like iPhone whatever, I just wish the apps could coincide.
Yeah.
Also, it just bugs me that like on on Apple and things, you have to like buy almost everything, like all the apps and things like that. Like you don't have Play Store. It's like the Apple Store, but like almost every app costs, even if it is just like 99 cents or whatever. Like almost every app costs.
Oh, there's a bunch of free stuff.
But it's not the stuff that you want.
I have maybe one or two paid apps. Like a lot of my stuff is just free apps.
Yeah. I don't have any paid apps.
Reddit, Twitter.
You don't have an iPhone.
It's still an application on that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying my point is how Samsung Galaxy has a lot more free stuff that's like actually worth your time.
Yeah, but like, what are your paid apps?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know.
He literally said he's not a tech user, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I just don't really like use my phone for stuff. If I'm bored, I like go on Reddit or something, you know.
Yeah.
And just scroll for hours. It's not great.
I don't understand Reddit yet. Like I'm still. It's kind of like Twitter for me. Like I don't understand it yet.
It's not that hard to understand.
I'm trying. My Reddit just looks so confusing. Like.
What do you mean?
Well, it's in light mode first of all, but.
I just scroll the homepage on Popular.
No, overrated. Unpopular opinion, light mode is fine. You don't need everything to be in dark mode.
Well, see, I don't.
Not everything, but the majority of things.
But like Twitter and Reddit, yeah, you need it in dark mode.
Yeah, Discord, I need it in dark mode as well. Please tell me you don't have Discord in light mode.
I have Reddit in light mode.
No.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, see?
That's fine.
See, so I don't know. For some reason, it just like...
No,
I don't know what's wrong with it.
Foul. Disgusting.
Resisting the urge to insult you.
So much nicer.
I hope you appreciate that.
Actually, that kind of looks like Instagram now.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't use Instagram that much.
I have, honestly, since I finished my 100 days makeup, haven't posted a thing. Haven't been on it, and it's been fantastic. It's been bliss.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
I can imagine.
Next.
Yes, please.
Ooh. David Attenborough is overrated and nothing more than a glorified voice artist. I thought there would be a more visceral reaction. No, I'm not.
The man is an institution.
Yeah.
He is something. He is like a genre itself.
I'm struggling to see where you guys are coming from, if you're agreeing or disagreeing.
Disagree.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a lot stronger disagree, to be honest.
I don't think he's overrated. I mean, look, I can understand where they're coming from.
He's an icon.
Yeah. I mean, they're positing that he, you know, what do they call it?
A glorified voice actor.
Okay. Look, I can understand that.
Or voice artist.
I can understand that position. I think it's very reductive of the work that he does.
Yeah.
Like, he's maybe the most famous, you know, bloody, what's the word?
Nature documentary.
Documentary, yes, since, I don't know, maybe Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
He's done so much
He's been
work.
around for years.
Yeah, he's done so much work towards conservation and education. Like I think there's so many people who wouldn't really care about this stuff if they hadn't grown up with David Attenborough.
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite odd because like it's also kind of his job and his passion, so why would it matter? Like that's
Exactly.
That's what he does. That's his. That's
Yeah,
his
I know,
thing.
but there is there's quite a big hype over David Attenborough. Like he is the nature guy.
Yeah, because
I get
people
that, yeah.
people
Yeah.
like what he does. They like.
I
his
guess
voice
it's kind
and
of
they
the same
like
thing
his
as Crocodile Hunter,
documentaries.
like Steve Irwin. A lot of
Yeah.
people were just like he just ran a zoo, and I'm just like, no, he did so much more.
Well, yeah, exactly. He was he was a science educator.
Yeah,
Like Bill
but you'd
Nye
be lying if you
or
said those two
Kyle
men
Hill.
have not impacted the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in the same like I said, he's in the same vein as people like Bill Nye,
Yeah.
or Mr. Rogers. Just
see, I've never ever seen an episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy, and yet
Neither.
I'm still
I
like,
feel like I've seen one.
and yeah, I'm still like, but it's Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I know of his impact through his television show, but I
Yeah.
really only know him from his
Memes.
takes on Twitter,
Yeah.
where he does not suffer fools at all. Like he is sick of everyone's bullshit, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, he
Bill
does
Nye
not
goes
care.
off.
Shit,
And
I gotta
he's
check
amazing.
out Bill Nye
He's
Twitter.
amazing. Yeah.
He gets
Yeah.
angry.
Damn, I've
Yeah.
not seen that.
But yeah, I think. Okay, yeah, maybe there is,
There's truth in the statement or opinion
Yeah.
that it is a little bit overrated because he has done it so often, but that like once again he's just earning money. He's doing what he wants to do. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and the attention that he's brought to conservation and those efforts and just wildlife knowledge in general for a large chunk of the population, and even putting that aside, he and his crew, the people that he's worked with throughout the years have they've pushed camera technology especially
Yeah,
forward
sure.
in leaps and bounds, just through wildlife photography. Like the cameras that they're using to capture these things today, it's probably safe to say that a lot of those advancements, well, at least some of them, wouldn't have been made without he and his creative team,
Yeah.
pushing for, better quality photo capture for these documentaries. Yeah, I just really appreciate and respect the work that he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say he hasn't really fallen in quality. It's just gotten better and better. He hasn't gone into a lull of okay, I'm doing this again.
And
it does get better and better.
And you can tell that he's still passionate about it. At,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
80 something? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not just
He
oh yeah,
old.
it's this bug now, this is but
Yeah, he's
whatever.
putting in the effort
Yeah,
because
he's just
he wants to.
check
Yeah.
out this new exotic whatever, and it's like,
Mm.
yes.
So yeah, I
I hate documentaries with passion. I just can't be asked. They're boring to me. But I
love documentaries.
I have
but then I love
have
learning.
sat through many a David Attenborough episode because I'm just like, I want to see the pretty stuff, and he his voice just makes it interesting to listen to.
Yeah. Honestly, nature documentaries, not really my thing. I'd much
Neither.
rather watch a couple episodes of how stuff works.
Yeah.
Or whatever, how it's made.
Yeah.
I love how it's made.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that gets me. Or a World War II documentary or something like that.
Quite
you
like
know.
the space ones.
Yeah.
Space ones are
Space.
nice.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah. Nature doesn't really get me as much.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate David Attenborough and the work that he's done for that field. So, yeah, I understand where they're coming from with that take, but disagree. Respectfully.
Yeah. Respectfully, disagree.
Respectfully, go fuck yourself.
All right.
Yes.
Marriage no longer works.
Eh?
Or
What does that mean?
how to phrase this in it. Marriage is no longer not necessity, but I'm gonna stick with necessity. Marriage is no longer
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Needed.
I personally do not want to get married.
I do, but not for any of the do you call it? Any of the
traditional
Yeah.
kind of...
Yeah, I want to get married just because I'd love to have like a nice wedding, you know, with the person that I love, just and like gathering family, things like that.
Fair enough.
But not because of any sort of, you know, church or whatever,
pressure
traditional.
to do it.
Yeah,
Just because you want to.
yeah. It's just I'd like to get married. But
I can see how it would be, like, just personally, I can see how it would be useful from a, you know, legal, financial standpoint.
But
you know,
it's
just
not anymore, because if you live with someone for 5 years, you become state partners, I think they're called. So you get all the perks as a married person anyway.
Yeah, I think they call it a common law marriage in
That's
the States.
it, yeah.
Where, like, if you can, like, in certain states, if you consider yourself married, then you technically are.
Yeah, common
in the
law.
eyes of the
You have
states,
to be
yeah.
together for a certain amount of time, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So you get all the same perks.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess there's not
Legally.
really any.
But
yeah, it's kind of obsolete, but it's still nice at the same time.
Yeah.
If it is something
How-
you want to do.
How do prenups work with that then?
I don't think you have one. Because you're not actually married, I feel like it's just...
Well, see, there you go. Right?
Yeah,
So,
because
like,
you're not actually married, like, that is your prenup, is, well, you're not married, so you can't
Yeah.
take their stuff. But
yeah.
I feel like, so
Wait, hold on. What's a prenup? Sorry.
a prenup is what you sign.
Prenuptial agreement.
Yeah, so it's what you... Well, not everyone sign. Honestly, I actually don't get why people get so, like, heated over it. So basically, it's an agreement that you sign if, in the case of a divorce, everything you had before you got married goes back to you. So say
I think if it is a state thing, I believe if you're not married but you've been together long enough, I think it just becomes a 50-50 split, because even if you don't have, like, maybe if you have ways to prove that you owned it beforehand, the state might, but if you don't, then they're probably just gonna be like,
And again,
straight down the middle.
that's the kind of thing that you would sort out while drafting a prenup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't get why prenup, like, people get, like, mad when their partner, like, asks for a prenup. If I had, I'm just going to use really random examples, but if I had a nice dining room table and 10 grand, you had some nice chairs and 2 grand, we get married or whatever, and then we split up and you're like, well, my chairs match the suite, so I'm taking the dining room suite. I'm like, but that was mine. You take what you had, I'll take what I have, and we can go our separate ways like it was before.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, and they had 2 grand, I had 10, but now you get 6 because it's a 50-50 split. It's like, well, no.
No.
Like,
No.
I don't get why everyone gets mad at prenups. Like, I'd happily sign a prenup. Like, yeah, you get to keep your shit, I get to keep my shit.
Makes shit
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, it's
Really.
actually so much
Cover
easier.
your bases.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People get mad because they're like, "Oh, what, you think we're gonna get divorced then?" Is that like they get
It's
this?
No, it's
it's
precautionary
insurance.
measure.
I don't think I'm going to crash my car, but it could happen. I still have insurance.
Exactly. But like, people get heated when their partner asks for a prenup, and I was just like, that just sounds like logical. Like, it's not saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to divorce you eventually." It's just like, if we
Anything
do,
could happen.
it's like having life insurance anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an insurance insurance
policy.
What's going on?
policy. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But marriage itself, it's overrated in terms of legality, in terms of personal. I think it's still fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 friends now who are married.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, that's their decision, and they're happy with it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, fully
Not much really
respect that power
yeah.
to them.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
not much really changes. It's kind of just like, yeah,
Yeah,
Mine's-
we
that's
did
what
that.
that's what they've both said. Yeah.
Mine's literally all just personal gain. I would like to have a nice, pretty ring, and I would like to have a ceremony with my partner and my family. Like,
Fair enough.
It's just something that I want to have. Because, like, I mean, I guess I could just like organize a party with my family and friends or whatever. But like, there's no point just
It's not the
doing
same.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
I
get
like,
that.
if I just had a party, just because it's not the same. But like, a wedding is just a nice ceremony, and it's a day to like celebrate you and your partner. Like,
Exactly.
that's our day.
Yeah. Not for me, but you
Yeah.
do you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Doesn't
What about
bother
you?
me either
You
way.
You haven't done your personal stand. Where do you stand on marriage?
What?
Would you like to get married? Eventually.
I wouldn't have a clue.
Fair enough.
The future is undecided. No.
So is yours
Fair enough.
like
I'm not gonna really think about something until it comes close to it occurring. Really.
fair? So you just kind of like
There's
it
no
depends on the
there's
person
no
I meet.
point really.
He lives
thinking
in the
about it.
moment.
So if you
Yeah.
met someone who didn't want to get married, you'd just be like, come.
Probably.
I mean, that sounds like
I
you,
wouldn't
to
have
be
much issue with it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, having a wedding ceremony. Oh, that's a lot of money and work. Oh,
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's
Yeah.
it's a big financial commitment.
Yeah.
One thing I do think is overrated is spending more than $2,000 on a dress. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even spend more than that. That seems really absurd to me.
you know, I had people at my school ball who spent like $700 on their dress, and I was like,
fuck off.
mine was $200, and that was just because it had to be altered. It was too big for me, so it had to be altered.
It was like, something like $180 for my suit.
Yeah.
So mine had to be,
my suit was maybe $200.
Yeah.
Maybe.
mine had to be altered, so it was
Doesn't
like it was
fit me
around
anymore.
$200, and that was like, oh my gosh, I just spent $200 on a dress. And this girl came to, she bought 2 dresses, but she ended up wearing that one, and that one was $700, and I was like,
Nope.
Your parents have a lot of money.
I know.
It's like,
I was just like, what do you mean? She's like, I didn't know what one I wanted to go with, so I bought both, and then we decided today. And I was like, how do you have that much money to just spend on options?
I'll occasionally catch, bits and pieces of, what is it, Say Yes to the Dress?
Yeah.
When someone in the house is watching it.
Yeah.
'Cause we live with a couple of women, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
These particular ladies.
Yeah.
not
Yes.
not
Yeah.
casting aspersions
just-
on the gender as a whole.
We stereotype.
No,
it.
they both quite enjoy it.
I enjoy it. Like, honestly, I
yeah.
just like pretty dresses.
And like tens of thousands of dollars.
Some of them are like,
US.
what's your budget? $10,000. I'm sorry. Why?
It's
Yeah.
On a dress you're literally going to wear once. I want to...
Yes.
What I really want to do, which I know my mum's going to kill me for, but at my wedding, so I want to do all the photos, have a nice thing, whatever. And then I've seen so many brides, they
I know
like
where this is going.
jump into a lake, or they do
Oh,
like if it was raining or whatever, they go outside and do like mud run. I would
Hell
love to
yeah.
do that. Like, yeah,
Hell yeah.
it does ruin the dress, but like, if you don't do something like that, you're probably never going to wear the dress anyway, unless you get it kind of altered to make it into like a less formal
Yep.
dress.
No, do
Yeah.
it.
You're
Fuck
liter-
societal norms.
Yeah,
why
you're
not?
literally never going to wear it again. I know so many people who have gotten married, kept their dress for like 20 years, and then they just sell it because they're like, well, it's been sitting in the cupboard for 20 years. And
Yeah.
like, they kept it for the memory or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, cool, you've got a dress sitting in your cupboard, nice. I would rather, even if I did spend $2,000 on that dress, I would still rather just mess it up, have a good time, because I'm going to remember, like, yo, I went swimming in my wedding dress.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And then the dude goes and buys or rents a suit that can be used for any other formal occasion.
exactly. Yeah. Like, a suit is a suit. He can use
Yeah.
that whenever.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
that's the thing. A guy wears the same suit, nobody's going to be like, oh, but I've gone to 3 weddings now, and I had to wear a different outfit at each of them because they were family weddings.
Yeah.
So they were like, my mom was like, but you wore that to the last wedding. And I was like,
Who cares?
it's a nice dress. And they're like, no, you can't wear the same thing. Like, no.
Oh, the last wedding I went to was November of last year. It was one of my best mates. I would hazard a guess as to I was the sharpest dressed man there.
Yeah.
Like I just went all out.
Honestly, like,
Flex.
it's so fun, but it's not even weddings. Like, we had a baptism as well, and I couldn't wear the same thing that I wore to the wedding to the baptism. And I was
What
like,
is up with
Excuse me.
you and your family and
yeah.
extended...
Well, I mean, it was, yeah, I guess it was just my family, but like, I'm saying it wasn't my immediate family. Like, all my cousins and things too, they wore different things because they were like, well, we can't wear the same thing. And I was like, but why?
That baffles me.
Yeah.
So
No,
why
if-
not?
Whereas all the guys turned up in the same suits.
If I were to get married, I would just go all out
Yeah.
on my clothing, like some off the wall Victorian steampunk inspired,
That's so sick.
just fancy, decked out with like
Why
the
not?
ornamentation and
My husband's
like
going to wear a pirate shirt.
accessories. yes, I love it.
But like a formal pirate shirt, but still like one of those like
Yeah, like
puffy
like
pirate shirts.
full embellished top hat and coat
Nice.
with a collar
Yeah.
and yeah, just
That'd be pretty good.
I
Yeah.
would actually hire someone to design and make it.
Honestly,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like
Fair.
like knee high adventurer boots with like buckles and you just
That's the thing. But themed weddings, so many people are like, that's so tacky. It's like, it's your day. Like,
I would absolutely have a cosplay wedding.
do you know how, oh my gosh, that would be
100%.
so sick.
Hell yeah.
That would be so sick. If you get married and it's cosplay wedding, I'm going for
That is Yes.
Assuming I've been invited to your wedding. I'm inviting myself to your wedding.
I mean, probably. Yes, if I got married, it would probably be a cosplay wedding.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be
That sounds pretty
so
epic.
sick.
And it would have to be to a certain standard, otherwise you would be turned away at the door.
Oh yeah, could you imagine? So that's the one thing. Like for my 20th, I wanted to do it, and then for my 21st, I wanted to do it. Maybe I'll do it next year. I wanted to have a dress as your favorite era. So my mum was gonna do 1920s, something like that. She was gonna get one of those like big dresses and things like that. I love the 1940s and 50s, so I was gonna wear something like that.
Danny is fully into 40s fashion, yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna cap it at 2000s because I had so many people being like, "Well, I just dress as I dress now because that's my favorite era," and I was just like, "Why do you have to be such a killjoy?" Like, I hate those people.
Yeah.
Who, like, you give them a thing and they're like, "Oh,
I would go 20s probably,
yeah,
like full on Peaky Blinders kind of.
nice."
I know exactly who I would cosplay at a wedding if you would do it. It'd be Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist.
For some reason, I was thinking Edward Elric. Like
No,
like
it'd
same-
be Roy Mustang.
I mean, same franchise,
I don't
but
know who
yes,
that is.
yes, I know Roy Mustang.
Wait, what's his name?
Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist.
Voiced by Vic Mignogna, right?
Fuck, I don't know.
What did he
I don't
do?
know any of the voice actors in that.
He
I
did
must
Edward
admit.
Elric. No, I think he
My
did
My
Edward
question is
Elric.
why.
Bro,
Because he wears a nice uniform.
Oh,
is he a lieutenant?
Yeah, but look,
That's a
find a picture with the coat like done up and like
Oh, yeah.
full. Yeah, there you go. There you
Damn. Yes,
Yeah, the
my boy.
go. Clean.
Roy Mustang is he's top tier.
That'd be
my dude.
great.
I don't know who I'd cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you,
Oh,
I've always
shit.
wanted to cosplay Arsenal, and I never have. I always said the first cosplay I do will be Arsenal, and I just never did.
From.
Sword Art Online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm not familiar.
Yui.
she's got like full like armor.
Does she? Not really.
It's armor. It's like female armor, but
If it weren't my wedding, and it were a cosplay wedding, I would probably spring for a proper Enterprise uniform from Discovery. Like
Fair.
I showed you guys a picture of Pike's uniform from the show.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love that uniform, man. It's like and it looks like formal. Like you
Yeah.
could wear that for a formal
Oh
occasion.
yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's, I love the jacket. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I see. Yep. That's
I
nice.
just
the only
Nice
thing
outfit.
is it
I
is
just want
kind
a
of
fully-
white. So
fully tailored, proper
Awesome.
proper cloth Roy Mustang jacket. Fuck. Fully
You-
fully
okay.
tailored.
You need to be putting pictures up on screen of
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah, I need to- yeah,
That's right. You can
Time
go.
code.
You can go through and get timestamps later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me put
But
my
yes.
notes. It makes it easier when I'm editing, you know.
okay, this one it's kind of like the iPhone one, as in like only iPhone users shame the other one. The other one doesn't care.
Okay.
It's like an automatic license is just as good as manual license. Do you know how many manual drivers I'm like, you don't know how to drive a manual? It's just not necessary anymore. Like, it's a good skill,
You
but
don't know how
like,
to drive a man. No.
I drive a manual.
that's the, I would like to know how to drive a manual, but when I was learning how to drive, well, I mean, we still don't have a manual car. So I was just never presented with the opportunity to learn because we don't have a
The
manual.
likelihood of you driving the manual car if you don't have one is pretty low, I
I've been
would say.
driving for almost 5 years now.
I
Never needed to drive a manual.
I learned in a manual, and I made sure when I was buying my first car, I made sure that it was a manual.
I would like
I was
to.
looking
want
for a
a
manual.
manual, but like they're so much more expensive and they're quite hard to find.
That's the thing. When I
At
want,
least a decently nice one, at least.
because you know how I wanted to buy the Suzuki Swift because it's my
Yeah.
first car. Yeah, I was going to buy that as a manual, but you have to specially get it changed to a manual transmission because they're
Oh.
made automatic now.
Ooh,
That's
that
weird.
That doesn't seem like a good move.
Yeah, it was
I don't
just
like
like
that.
that's it was like an extra $1.50 to be changed to manual transmission, and I was just
That's
like,
not too bad though.
but that makes it a $10,000 car.
Jeez.
Ah, shit,
It's
yeah,
just more
sure.
fun driving manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I can see the fun and the hype or whatever, but like
Also, I feel like it keeps you more focused as well.
yeah, but
Yeah.
everyone who like specifically drives like more specifically like the boy racer kind of, they're like, but you
I drive
you
a
don't know
I
how to
drive
drive
a-
a manual.
I drive a Toyota Hilux on the farm.
oh god.
Got the dogs in the back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
But
because
it's just New Zealand.
everyone yeah,
Toyota
it's
Hilux.
just it's just New Zealand, but it's just like because they love like the revs and things you can put into it, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess, but cool, but like I would like to know. It would be something like skilled to have, but the fact that I don't, it's not the end of the world.
No, fair enough.
Really.
I mean,
my life hasn't been dramatically impacted because I don't know how to drive a manual.
Yeah, I mean, if you're living in a big city, and you spend a lot of time in traffic, then yeah, by all means, get an auto. Like, it's going to make your life easier. I took my car up to Auckland once and got stuck in rush hour traffic. My foot hurt by the time we got to where we were going. It wasn't fun. But if you live in like, a less sparsely populated area where you've got nice roads and all that, like, spring for a manual. It'll just be a whole lot more enjoyable.
There are no nice roads here in New Zealand. Maybe.
No, I agree.
I mean,
Wellington, the highway down there, maybe.
Arbakino Gorge.
No. Ooh.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I hate twisty roads.
In a manual, it's brilliant.
I hate twisty roads with a passion. I
there's-
get car sick, so no.
No, there's a really nice drive between Bell Block and I want to say Oneiro. Like one of my mates, his parents live out that way, and he stays there when he's in town, and it's just a really nice drive out there.
Yeah,
But
I drove that.
Are you
Bell
talking about
Block-
by like Methanex? Or?
Bell Block to Mokow is
Yeah.
such a nice drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that bit, but as soon as you hit the Awakina Gorge, nah.
Nah, I like it. I like it.
I guess
I
between...
get, like I said, I get
drive.
car sick, so I'm like, no.
Fair
I
enough.
haven't driven it myself, but between probably like Hamilton and Auckland, where like you start
Actually,
it's
yeah.
a big
on
highway,
the
and it's
on the
just
motorway.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
That's a
smooth and
nice road.
Yeah.
That's honestly, every time I've driven to Auckland, I like hate the entire drive until I hit that motorway, and I'm like, yes, just straight road.
Oh my god.
The last hour left, just straight. Thank the Lord.
The only problem I have with that drive is we were coming back from Auckland once, and yeah, we did go through Hamilton, and then going out of Hamilton, I think this has happened twice actually. We didn't get on the main highway immediately
Yeah.
to like come back to Taranaki. We found ourselves in this weird like Mormon community.
Yes.
Templeview.
Wait,
You know the one, right?
Templeview.
When
Templeview.
Yes,
That's it. Yeah.
That is so creepy.
Like, okay, I'm
Really?
not
Shit.
like no judgment.
Every single house is exactly the same. They all have the same fence, and there's a giant church right in the middle.
It seems
Yeah.
like a cult.
No, like
It's
absolutely,
scary.
no judgment towards you if you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I respect your religion and your decision. It's just this particular development in Hamilton is like it's just got a weird vibe to
it's
it.
creepy.
They are all brick houses. Every single house has a red roof. Every single fence is white, and they're all like sort of that tall.
Yeah,
And
there's a church which looks like
It's
a
a
converted factory.
It's a giant
Yeah.
church on top of the hill. Like everything is flat, and there's this one big hill that has a giant church on top.
Yeah, and there's like no pedestrians.
No, you
there's-
never.
there's
ever-
no-
It seems like
no
a ghost town. At the
Yeah,
same
there's
You
no
time.
never see
cars
people.
parked on the street. Like they're all in garages. It's
The school kind of looks like a warehouse as well. The school that you can't tell it's a school unless
Yeah.
you like
yeah,
knew that
it's
it was a
it's
school.
just kind of bizarre. Like it's
You
it's
never
not.
ever see anyone going
It's
through.
it's not a religion thing. It's nothing to do with
It's
the
just the
church.
town itself.
It's just that section of the town.
Like-
the way that it's been built is just it's just unsettling.
That place at night is what you'd expect to see in like Outlast.
Mm.
Like
It's like a Get Out kind of vibe, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. When I say everything is like everything is the same, and all the
Yeah.
grass is always neatly cut.
Yeah.
Like they only have one type of plant in the like public area, and it's those like little, what do you call them? They kind of look like little bushes, but
Yeah.
what are they called?
Little bushes.
No, but the
yes.
I know what you mean.
it's like like long grass. You know those like bushes that are just like long grass and then kind of circular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I'm on
yeah,
about. So,
no,
but
I
that's
don't-
the,
I know.
that's the only
I
plant.
don't know what it is, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the only plant that is along like the thing.
And the grass always looks like it's been newly laid.
Yeah,
Like
It's just
it's
unsettling.
it's
And
too
every-
perfect.
every single pathway is that like white concrete.
Yeah, maybe it's the fact that when we were going through, it was like new, like it was maybe only a couple years old, that particular development. But yeah, it's just unsettling.
Because I used to live in Matamata. Every time we went through, is it before or after Hamilton? I think we went through there a lot anyway. Never ever seen a single pedestrian there.
yeah,
And
So, like,
I've gone
I
through
feel
there
like-
at all times of night.
Hamilton is designed exactly so people accidentally go through there.
Yeah.
It's
honestly,
entirely possible. Yeah,
it is
because that's where the GPS took us.
I've been inside the church.
Oh god.
We went there for a fireworks display or a lantern display. It was when I was like very young. When we lit lanterns around there and like let them all go and things like that. And typically you're not allowed inside the church. We were only allowed inside the church for this specific event.
Okay.
And it feels like the cathedral in, once again, is it Italy or whatever, like the Sistine Chapel?
Yes.
It feels like that inside. Like inside is gold.
Oh, okay.
There's like gold like statues and things like that.
All right, so it's like Catholic level of ostentatious.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
and there's like those great big like red rugs and things like that. Like,
right.
yeah, like it's very
It's flexing.
yeah, and
It doesn't look like that from the outside.
I know, in certain rooms it kind of looks like what's that Nicolas Cage movie? The Nicolas Cage movie.
National Treasure.
Yeah, you know the library he goes into. Oh, well, even like the presidential's office and things like that.
Oh,
like
from the second one.
Yeah,
the Library of Congress. Yeah.
Certain rooms look like that, like look like the president's office and things like that, but like library form.
Okay. Yeah.
Like.
Huh.
It's,
yeah, that's.
It's weird. Like.
Yeah.
It's just unsettling because that's the thing. We were only allowed inside that church for that like event.
Yeah.
I don't even think that church is used for like Saturday or Sunday church. Like I don't think
that's
it's
weird.
I just did not like it when I went through
No. Even more unsettling is that's where the GPS took us. You know?
Yeah.
we put in New Plymouth for the GPS directions from Hamilton because I think we stopped briefly to get food or something, and that's where the GPS took us through there, and then onto a back road which eventually got back to the highway.
Yeah.
But
it is actually
it's
quicker if you're on the east side of Hamilton. I don't know. One of the I don't remember, but it is quicker.
Okay.
Because I have gone through there at all different times of day and night and whatever. It is actually a quicker route. It is quite commonly travelled, but you never see anyone from there walking around.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never seen a pedestrian.
Yeah.
And I drove through there a lot.
Yeah, it's like unsettling is just the word that I'm going to use for it.
I'm expecting I can imagine just going through there at twilight and it's just like a horde of people going to the church. It's like,
I mean, yeah, we've definitely driven through there like when it's been near dark and like no people, but yeah.
The sun going down. It's like some sort of like zombie apocalypse is about to start or something.
Well, yeah.
What you mean, like I Am Legend, like when the sun goes down, everyone's like lock
eerily
up.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Yeah.
All right, this one is gonna trigger some things, but it's gonna trigger purposely because of what this is.
Alrighty.
So, we've kind of touched it on already with The Office, but political correctness is killing the honest opinion of the world. I refuse to change the way I speak just because some people need to get out more.
I think the person who wrote that would be very offended by the mere notion of tolerance.
Yep. Yep. But the beginning sentence is kind of right. I agree. Like, there are certain things that you just can't say because people are like...
There's a certain degree to which political correctness needs to be taken. Like, it does go too far sometimes, but you do, like, you know...
Yeah.
It really just boils down to treat people with respect, you know?
No, but my thing with being PC is, like, in netball, there's no player of the day anymore because it was saying that people who don't get it, it's unfair to them. Well, you didn't play good, so... What a shame.
I don't know if I would call that political correctness, though.
But it is, because it's like competitions and things. They're like, but you can't because it's unfair. It's the PC I'm talking about is just like when they're like, oh, you can't because it's unfair to some people. It's like,
I know, maybe if it's a social team or not. If it's not a social team, then you can, like, they are competing in a sport. Like, what?
It's the same thing to a certain degree. Like, if like, okay, I'm just going to be like, if they were like, oh yeah, Jessica's the player of the day. Look at that. Jessica's the player of the day. Jessica's the player of the day again. That's a bit unfair. But you can't give someone player of the day just because they didn't get it yet.
I'm pretty sure that's what they did. Like, because I played soccer in primary school for like 5 years. Like at that level, at that primary school level, I'm pretty sure that's what they did. They just rotated through the team with it. And for kids that age, that's absolutely fine. You know? Do that. Once you get to the high school level, like, yeah, you should probably be giving it to, you know, the player who is who, like,
because that's the thing, like,
best.
I get not belittling someone because they're not very good, but at the same time, you can't praise them just because they haven't had their turn. No,
exactly.
That's not how life works. Because if you rotate. If you're rotating the whole time, being like, oh yeah, they get to somewhere where they're suddenly not praised for it. They're going to be like, but I've been praised for it my whole life. Why can't it?
Well, see, I think once you get to that high school level of sports, that's where you're doing it because you want to be there and you want to be doing well and improving at your
obviously
craft,
if you're teaching like a team of 5-year-olds or whatever, you're not like, Sam, you're shit. Like, obviously you can't do that. But there's a certain level, and that's what I get like a little bit heated about, is people don't understand what I mean when I'm like, there's a certain level. Like, you can praise people, but you can also be like fair. And so many people are like, oh, but you can't do that because that's unfair. And it's like, well, no, just within moderation. Everything within moderation. There is a happy medium you can hit. Whereas when you say something, when you're like, oh, you can't do that, everyone goes from like one extreme to the other. And I'm like, no, I'm happy medium. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I think we see this a lot in comedy.
Yeah.
Where, a lot of, especially older comedians, will complain that, they can't be funny anymore because there's things that they can't say. They can't make fun of certain races or gay people or whatever. We're like, you don't need to do that to be funny.
Yeah.
Or you can do it in a respectful way that isn't derogatory.
Yeah. See, that I can understand. That's perfectly fine. But a perfect example, same with the comedian, Daniel Sloss, or Dan Sloss, he's quite a dark comedian, but there's one joke where he didn't make fun of his sister, but he told a joke about his sister who had a disability. I don't remember what her disability was, but he made fun of her being disabled. I can't remember exactly, but she was playing a joke on her parents. So she wasn't all like mentally there, but she was playing a joke on her parents.
Right.
And she was pretending to be asleep or something or whatever. And he said something about picking her up like the dead sack of potatoes she was or something, because she couldn't move her like arms and things like that.
Right.
And everyone got offended about that. And he says, why do you need to be offended? And he finishes the joke, and it turns out, she was playing a prank or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, but all of you got offended because I'm making fun of my sister who's disabled. She didn't ask you to get offended for her. Apparently she also had like a really sick sense of humor. Yeah. But everyone got offended because they were like, you can't make fun of a disabled person. And he was like, well, I'm not making fun of her disability. I'm making fun of her because it's my sister, and I know that she's not going to take it personally.
Yeah,
exactly. She didn't ask you to get offended on her behalf, but you did because you thought it was offensive to her. So it's one of those like happy medium things as well. People are quite soft, and they do get offended at certain things, but at the same time, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to make fun of this because I can. It's
like if it's something that's like, if a comedian makes a joke about something that they have a personal connection to, like, I'm not going to begrudge them that. If they're joking about a family member, like that, I might, I'll find it funny. I might go and just quickly do a Google afterwards to make sure that their family is all good with that, and it's like you never want to be making jokes at the expense of someone else,
Yeah.
And I would hope that most, like, especially young comedians these days would, understand that and, just...
I feel like there's a line where you don't want it to kind of like bleed into real life or reality, where you want to leave it. Yeah. You want to leave it at that stage. You want to leave it.
Yeah, and comedy by its very design is, exaggeration.
Yeah.
Isn't it? If you're a comedian, what you say on stage is oftentimes not going to reflect,
who you are as a person.
Yeah, or what you practice in your day-to-day life. I know. I'm trying to think of examples of things like that, but honestly nothing else.
There was another thing, same show. They were like, this guy came up to him afterwards, and he's like, you can make fun of the gays, you can make fun of the colored people, but you cannot make fun of Jesus because it's Jesus. And it's like, well, because he says in his show, he's like, feel free to take any of this personally. I don't care. But if you're going to take one of the jokes personally, please take them all personally. You can't decide to take that one personally because your cousin, sister's brother, whatever, has some sort of connection. Any of these could be taken personally. I don't mean them to be personal to you, but if it happens to be personal, that's not my fault. You took it personally. I'm sorry, whatever. But if you're going to take them personally, you've got to take them all personally, because
exactly.
Just because it doesn't relate to you doesn't mean it's not a personal joke or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, if the person telling the joke is doing it to be deliberately inflammatory, then like, go,
by all means, get offended.
Get out. You're just being a dick.
Yeah.
But if it comes from a place of understanding, and it's just a joke.
Yeah.
You don't mean anything by it, then it shouldn't really be a big deal.
Yeah.
I guess.
Mine, there's just so many things like changing the way you speak, not derogatory, but like someone doesn't like this certain topic or whatever, and they're like, oh well, I'd prefer we just didn't talk about that. And it's like, oh, but I'm really interested in this or whatever. If you don't like it, just leave the scenario. Like, unless it's like actually derogatory or like bad or whatever. If you don't like it, just leave the situation. No, you can't please everyone. So if you go up to someone and you're just like, well, I personally don't like that. It's like, well, okay, yeah, leave. That's fine. I mean, feminism. I'm getting into this.
Okay, cool.
One of my friends was dating this girl, and he held the door open. Literal, like that stereotypical example. He held the door open for her, and they all her friends said to him, she can hold the door open herself. Thank you. She's an independent woman.
Fuck off.
I'm sorry. That's my biggest gripe with feminism. I love empowering women, empowering people, but feminism it started as empowering women, and it ended up as women are better than men. Where that happened, I don't know.
No, I
feminism should be about empowering everyone together. Like, yes, I get that they're like women didn't have rights and things like that, but like, if you start going, oh, we didn't have rights, so now we need those rights, so we're better, you're just doing the same thing that happened in the first place, but in reverse.
Yeah. It was like I was at work, and pretty much all my coworkers are female, except the manager of the store.
Right.
So it does feel really weird, but I'm like, cool. The environment is fucking brilliant. Because honestly, it's great. And I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about people fighting each other, and I'm like, oh, but I wouldn't hit a woman. Like, Conall, why wouldn't you hit a woman, huh? And I'm like, that's not... I'm like, well, if you want it that way, equal rights, equal fights. We had a good laugh about it.
I saw something yesterday, and it was just like, if a woman slaps me in the street, can I slap her back? Yes, that's called self-defense. If I slapped Conall, I would expect him to hit me back.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect him to be like, I'm not going to fight you because you're a woman, so I can just punch you in the face and you're not going to hit me because I'm a woman. Women can still be dicks.
More so for me, it's like, I wouldn't initiate the fight. I would wait.
Yeah.
It
depends.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
If I were randomly slapped by anyone in the street, but particularly a woman, I would be very confused and just kind of like ask, like, why? Why?
If they hit you because they're trying to start a fight, like if they're like, oh, you're not going to fight me?
I would say, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I would walk away.
I guess so, yeah. There is being a bigger person.
It's not just that.
Assume somebody else around would try subdue them.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, then I would probably subdue them.
Yeah.
If that didn't work. If I couldn't actually get away, if they just kept chasing me or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm just going to deal with you.
Yeah.
See, coming from a woman's perspective, like, obviously I get, if someone did slap me, I'd probably just be like, look, I'm not going to fight you. But if they kept pushing me, even if I was a man, if someone, regardless of men or women, so if they like tried to fight me first, I'd be like, I'm not going to fight you, but I'd warn them. I'd be like, look, if you keep doing this, I'm going to hit you. That's always been my rule. Like, I will never start a fight, but if someone's really like starting, I will warn them and I'll be like, if you don't stop, I will hit you. And if they keep going, then that's my green light to be like, cool.
Yep. My general rule, as a straight white man, so definitely
interesting start to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it really, like, when we get into these kind of topics, it kind of colours everything that you say.
Yeah.
To, like, be within that demographic. I personally, I would not hit a woman. I wouldn't really hit anyone.
Yeah.
Unless I was in immediate physical danger.
Well, see, that's the thing though. But you wouldn't.
Or,
it's
like,
not. You wouldn't hit them because they're a woman. You just wouldn't hit anyone in general.
Yeah.
You're just not a fighter.
Like, I get angry. Like,
Yeah.
I can be an angry person. And that's related to my Asperger's, as I have difficulty at times controlling my emotional reactions
Yeah.
to things. Like, I can be angry. I wouldn't consider myself a violent person. I've never hit anyone in
Neither.
anger. Ever.
Neither.
Am
Like,
I the
not
only person who's hit
Hey?
somebody?
Yeah, you're the only. But that's the thing.
I've hit
I've
two
almost
people.
I've almost been in fights because people have been pushing me. But as soon as I say, look, if you want to fight, we'll fight. But I'm not going to hit you to like just because I'm angry. Then they start realizing that like, oh, they're
Yeah, like I've absolutely been in shouting matches before. Like
I
absolutely.
can't be asked. I can't. From personal opinion, I've been shouted at many times. I don't shut down, but I just stay quiet because I know there's no point. When someone's yelling at you, I know that there's no point because they're not listening at that point. So I'm just like, I just shut down. But I'm talking about people who like get in your face. Like even at school, I had this one girl. Oh man, she was. But she just kept going, like, she thought she was, like, a real hood rat. And she was like, you want to square up, huh? And as soon as I was like, if you want to fight, we'll fight. But I'm not interested in, like, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah.
But then as soon as she, like, realized that, like, I was actually about to fight, she was like, oh, no, you're not even worth it. And she just backed up. And I was just like, cool. So I've had many of those situations, but I've never actually been in a fight.
Yeah, it's something you got to judge, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like if someone actually comes up to you and tries to start a fight, like, do they actually want to? Like, do I need to de-escalate this, or are they just posing? And do I need to, like, step up and make sure they know I'm not going to take it?
Yeah, but say if I'm the initiator, whether I'm going up to a man or a woman, if I'm trying to start a fight, I'm going to expect to be hit. If I'm going up to a man and I'm trying to start a fight with them, I'm expecting to be hit. I'm not going, oh, they're not going to hit me because I'm a woman. I can do what I want. Like, I'm going to expect to be hit.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I have actually been in a situation where I have had a woman swing at me.
Jesus.
It was one of my friends because she was extremely drunk and she thought I was being racist.
Oh, boy.
Very much misinterpreted.
See, okay,
context, she is Māori, so gives a little bit more leeway there. But yeah, no, she took a full-on swing at me, and I was so confused. I'm like, why did this happen?
Did she connect, or did you dodge?
No, I dodged.
Oh, okay.
I was also drunk, so it was a really bad dodge, but it missed. Like, it was kind of just like out of my peripheral, and I'm just like, what? So I didn't actively dodge. I didn't actively dodge. It was just like a reflex thing. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was like, hold on, why am I being swung at? I didn't escalate it at all. I'm just like, whoa.
Yep.
See, when you're drunk, it adds a whole different dynamic. Because, like, if you swing at someone who's drunk, I mean, you're also drunk, but if you swing at someone who's drunk, it's a bit like,
it's like a surprise attack. I'm like, what?
I mean, I've never had someone try to fight me, and I don't think I've ever been accused of racism.
Yeah.
I have been. I'd hesitate to say accosted.
Yeah.
In town, like when I've been out for drinks. I was out with some workmates. This was years ago. And this guy just like kind of came up from the side and like put me in a headlock, and he was like, "Bro, have you seen my hat? Like, did you take my hat?" And I was just like, dude, I haven't even seen your hat.
I don't know you.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, okay.
And just kind of let me go.
So
grabby feeling.
Yeah, it
was. What are you
kind of
up
weird.
to?
But like, I could also see a couple of my coworkers just like kind of watching it, ready to step in.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was all right, but like, just de-escalate.
Yeah. See, I almost ended up in a
Misdirect.
fight in town. I almost ended up in a fight in town, but it wasn't because of me. I was with this guy who was into me at the time, but I was
Okay.
telling him, no,
Brag about it.
we're not interested. We're friends. Yeah, because he was mutual friends, but we ended up in town alone together, and I was kind of like, look, like, we're just in town as friends. So, and we were leaving this club, and these two guys, like, big guys. So, okay, my friend is kind of about Connell's height, maybe a bit shorter.
Right, so we're talking about 5'9", 5'8" kind of thing.
No, probably even shorter, like 5'7",
Okay.
like 5'6",
Okay.
5'7", like
'Cause I'm about 5'9", and
Yeah.
you're just
About the
marginally
same-
shorter than me.
about the same
Yeah.
build, maybe a little bit smaller, but
Okay.
and these two like 6'6" guys,
no.
like gym bunnies, were coming up the stairs, and we were coming up the other side. And I don't know if they said hi to me or if they just looked at me or whatever, but it was just kind of because we were passing. I was kind of like, oh hey. This guy thought they were trying to get to me, and he shoulder checked them as we were going down the stairs.
Jeez.
Don't initiate physical contact with somebody bigger than you.
Like, I don't know why, but we were just passing and he just shoulder checks one of them and they just turn and they just shove him. And I just went straight into the middle of it and I was like, and in that moment I was like, I'm about to be hit. Like, oh no. But they straight away just like backed up. My friend was trying to like start a fight with them and I was like, bro, do you want to die tonight? Like,
Yeah.
But like stepping in. So in those sorts of advantages, I guess that kind because if I was a guy, I feel like they'd probably be like, oh, he's trying to like block or whatever.
Possibly, yeah.
But because I was a girl, I guess they kind of like, oh, you know, she's
Trying to de-escalate.
trying to stop it, whatever. Because I've seen quite a few like guys try and step into a fight, and the other person thinks that they're trying to like help their friend or whatever.
Happen.
So in those sorts of predicaments, I guess it can help. But like, if someone's trying to, I feel like the only like stance of like, you know, hitting a woman or whatever is if they're actually trying, if they're trying to start a fight and you can see that they're, and like there's no way of de-escalating it. If they're like swinging at you, like for self-defense purposes, by all means,
yeah.
hit the woman. If I'm starting a fight with you, I'm expecting to get decked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, like first step is try to de-escalate.
Yeah.
You know, get the cops involved if you can.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah, last resort, yes, defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Whether it's a man or woman, I would only hit someone in self-defense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
not going to hit
definitely.
someone just because they're being a dick. Like,
We did.
besides you, I might hit you.
What was the original question?
Being PC, like political
That's right.
correctness.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I mean, the two times I've hit people, there was a decent amount of build up to
Yeah, but
me hitting them.
those were in school though, weren't they?
Yeah, and I swung
Yeah.
first.
Ah,
Both times.
Come on.
I was pretty angry back then. I was,
Yeah, mind you,
I
to
was
be
a
fair,
ball of rage.
yeah, you had issues when you were
I was
younger.
Very angry.
Yeah,
I dealt with that though.
yeah,
That's
you
me.
did,
That's
you did.
me.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not an angry person. I get frustrated, but I don't get like angry.
I really only get angry at work, like mostly because my coworkers suck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's because I'm not a violent person. Like, I will just leave. If you
Yeah.
if you're being, I have no problem like cutting people out of my life. So I'm just like, okay,
No, fair
whatever,
enough.
bye.
Nowadays, I would just end it. But back then,
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
It's just not worth my energy anymore. I'm getting older. I don't have the energy to be mad at people. I'm just like, you know what? You want to be a dick? Bye. Okay,
Yeah, fair
that's
enough.
fine.
Do we do one more? It's almost
Jeez.
1:30.
Yeah. Okay. This one. One
One hour 30,
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Damn.
You know
okay.
what I
This
said.
one's a
19
funny
minutes.
one
You know what I
too.
mean.
This one's
All right.
It says, baby on board stickers on the back of cars are a waste of time. Me noticing a sticker just before I plow head first into the back of your car isn't a preventable action.
Okay, so I have something to say on this because this is a really common misconception. Those stickers are not for other drivers; they are for paramedics.
Are
they?
Yeah.
Wow,
Or
that
at
makes
least-
a lot more sense. Shit. They're actually helpful.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought the same thing. I'm like, what's the point? Like, yeah, if I'm going to hit you, the fact that there's a child in, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm about to hit this person. Let me try and sway it
Yeah,
even
exactly.
slightly further.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if you think that it's just for other drivers to like be careful around this vehicle,
Makes
Yeah.
like
no sense.
yeah, and in some cases it could cause them to be more reckless because like oh, you want me to be a more careful driver? Fuck you.
Yeah.
That kind of mindset. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, from what I understand, and I could be completely off base about it, but it makes sense to me. Those stickers and those signs are for paramedics, ambulance crews,
that
first
makes
responders.
sense.
That
Yeah.
makes so much more sense. That makes it useful. But see, you don't always have the baby on board, though. So if they see that sticker and then they're like, where's the child?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what the legal requirements around those are, and I don't know if that's the actual purpose.
I always thought they were, like, just for fun. But, I mean, you could Google it, I guess. No.
Yeah.
No, too
You're like,
late
yeah, I
to.
could.
Yeah, fuck that.
Probably.
But,
I
okay, that
prefer
makes
to
more
believe
sense.
that.
But yeah, I always thought it was just like a cute little decal thing, being like, baby on board. Like, yeah, if I'm gonna hit you, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to apply 10% more brake power just because you have a child on board. Like,
In the vein of vehicle decoration, fuck bumper stickers, man. Like
they're so stupid.
Yeah.
there is a brand, in Taranaki specifically called Taranaki Hardcore.
Taranaki
Right.
Hardcore.
It's
Where do people get those stickers? I see them
I
all the
don't
time, and I'm
know.
like,
They come
who's
out of
selling
nowhere.
them?
They
And
are summoned from the depths.
Do you
And
know
I
what they're
hate
like?
them.
They're like those lollies that you find at grandma's house that like you don't see them at any shops, but like she always has them, and you're like,
yeah, just
Where do they
like
go?
traditional boiled sweets kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, it's a tradition. If
Like you have gone out of your way to find those.
fuck's sakes.
Same with t-shirts. I've like people have like Taranaki hardcore t-shirts and things like that. I'm like, where did you get
where
that?
is it
T-shirts,
coming from?
bumper stickers, fucking window vinyl decals.
Yeah,
Like, you are spending money on this. What is the point?
just to be like, I'm from Taranaki.
Yeah. Like,
And
why
I'm
would you
fan.
brag about that?
Out of all places, do you know how many people from Auckland? They're like, oh, because I'll say like I'm not from Auckland or whatever, and they're like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like Taranaki, and they're like, where's that? And I'm like, bro, it's literally like 4 hours away. It's not like the other side of the world.
There's a big ass
We were-
mountain.
Yeah, I'm like, you know that. I'm always like, you know that bit of New Zealand that sticks out? Yeah, that. And they're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, bro.
I was on a school trip to Wellington for it was a Shakespeare competition, and there were 5 of us, I think, from a boys' school, and we were on Cuba Street. This was maybe like 5 or 6 in the evening, and we got talking to this woman. I don't remember how, but she eventually asked us where we were from. We said, "Oh, we're from New Plymouth," and she was like, "Oh, okay. No, really, where are you from?" Because she didn't believe that someone would willingly admit to being from Taranaki.
I mean,
I've never had it go that
Fair.
far. But yeah.
it's not like
I
we're
mean-
some sort of mystical land or something. Like, what
I
the
don't.
fuck?
I don't think she like actually said that.
Yeah.
But that was the kind of
Oh,
Yeah,
vibe we got.
connotation. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, we weren't offended because
Yeah.
come on.
I mean,
There's
see,
people-
I feel like, I mean, New Plymouth isn't that great, but like, it's not that bad.
It's
you
a
know?
pretty,
alright.
it's a pretty normal city.
like,
I
be
think
honest.
if you are a young kid or an adult
yeah,
with a family, it's great. It's a great
like,
place.
starter family place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are a older teenager or young adult,
No.
like 20s,
Yeah,
early 30s even, it's
it's not great, but like,
you got to move.
all
You
of
got to
us.
move.
yeah, literally, we're all trying to leave.
Let me out.
Yeah, I've
But
thought
that's the
about it.
thing, like,
Definitely.
I feel like I said, New Plymouth isn't that great, but it's not that bad either. But like Gisborne, Napier, I completely forget those places sort of exist. I mean,
Yeah, you don't
people
hear about
always
them.
say that those places are like so much better, and I'm like, but aren't they like tiny? What's there? Like,
Yeah.
and that's coming from here. I'm just like,
Hmm.
I don't even know. Like, I completely forget that those places exist.
Yeah, like even bigger cities like
Yeah.
Tauranga
I was
or
literally about to say
or
Tauranga.
Greymouth or
Yeah.
Dunedin or something, like
I know, but
what
for
happens there?
I know, but for some reason, Dunedin just sounds really cool. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean,
Out of all the places,
I don't know anything about
I don't
Dunedin.
know.
I don't
I don't know really either.
the,
I'm just
the
like,
entire South Island besides Christchurch. I have no idea. Like,
I wouldn't
what
wouldn't
is
mind
the South Island?
I wouldn't mind spending some time in Queenstown.
Yeah,
Like it's colder weather.
yeah.
Where and like I
I kind of want
prefer
to live in colder weather.
yeah
I wanted to go down to Otago.
I prefer winter clothes. Like layers.
I prefer
and-
that. I actually really like Christchurch. If I was going to move anywhere in New Zealand, I'd go to Christchurch because Christchurch, it does have that colder weather, but also it does have good summer. Like summer
Yeah.
is still pretty good, and you do have the beach. It's kind of like the perks of New Plymouth, but with stuff actually there. Like there is malls, there is museums,
Yeah.
like there is stuff to do.
Yeah.
I would like to live in Wellington.
Yeah.
It's just like
I
everyone
hate
goes
Wellington
there
with a passion.
and
I
That's-
also
it's
just
actually-
don't
you
wanna-
would have to commute.
You have to
Yeah.
drive in
some
Wellington.
cases,
That's a
and-
big
yeah.
no.
I mean,
Whoever designed Wellington is a fucking idiot.
Honestly, yeah,
it's a
Wellington,
bit of a nightmare.
and that's it, because the buildings are so tall. You never like in the town. There's no sunlight because it's just wind. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wind because the sun just can't reach that
I
low.
kind of like that though, because again, winter clothes.
Oh no, I hate it. I'm a summer baby through and through. I hate
Yeah,
Wellington
fair
with a passion. So many people were like, "Oh, when I was going to study, they're like, why don't you go to Wellington?" And I was like, because I know 90% of the people in my year are going there, and I just don't want to see them. I just
Yeah.
don't want to be there.
Better than Auckland.
I went to Auckland, and I like
I know
when
which one I prefer,
when I
honestly.
was in high school, I didn't go to any of the Auckland presentations because I said, hell or high water, I am not living in Auckland.
Yeah,
And
no.
I lived there for 2.5 years.
Ugh. New.
And
The
I didn't enjoy it. I mean, like my course and things I enjoyed, but like if it was anywhere else in the country, I would have like gone there. But it's just because that was the only place that offered my courses.
Auckland's one redeeming quality is driving on the freeway.
Yeah.
Like,
Even that, it's like Spaghetti Junction.
Well, the people there actually drive properly because they have to.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
Yeah.
I love driving on the freeway in Auckland.
See, that's the thing. Auckland would be great.
People follow the rules. Sorry.
If Auckland was flat, it'd be great because everything is within walking distance. But like something that should take you 10 minutes to walk takes half an hour because you have to walk all up the goddamn hills.
But that's most towns in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so many hills.
Christchurch, dead flat. That's where I learned to skateboard. Because I've always wanted to learn to skateboard. We do have the walkway here, but you have to drive to the walkway to like start. And I was just like, and I kept saying to my mates, like when I had got my skateboard, I was like, so I have to like walk for a good 20 minutes or drive for like 5 to get to the walkway. Then I'm on the walkway and I can skateboard, and then I have to turn around, come back, and get back into my car. Like it's just it's too much of a hassle to go for a skate.
Yeah.
Whereas
fair enough.
I went down to Christchurch and they were like, "Oh yeah, so we're going to skate to town," and I was like, "What?" So I literally learned to skate by necessity because they only have one car, because they all skate and bike. And I learned how to skateboard, and we just skate everywhere, and it was fantastic. It was a nice little trip.
I would love to get a one wheel.
A one wheel?
It's almost like a motorized skateboard, but it's like a deck built around this massive off-road wheel.
Yeah, I know.
They are brilliant. Like most of the guys from Corridor Digital have them, and they look so much fun. But there's too many freaking hills here. Also, you can't get them in New Zealand for some reason. Like, you can get them in Oz, but...
That's the thing. Like, everyone keeps telling me, like, oh, but there's the walkway. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to get to it.
Yeah,
like, it's that initial hassle. I'm like, there's no point trying to get to the walkway to then have, like, 10, 15 minutes of fun and then being like, oh, I guess we'll go back now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, there's just no point. Yeah. If you can't, like, access that stuff from leaving your house, there's no point. But... Yeah. Those... Oh, very last one. Pineapple on pizza.
Oh.
Agree.
No,
it's good.
No, die.
I just don't like pineapple, so like it's like it's just like
I love pineapple.
It's like
Same,
a double,
but not on pizza.
Okay, look,
it's like a double whammy for negatives for me. It's
you've got two scenarios, okay, in which pineapple is good on pizza. Okay,
No.
You've got shitty Pizza Hut, Domino's, Hawaiian, drunk at 2 a.m. meal kind of thing, right?
Mine's kebab.
Great.
Kebab is the best drunk meal.
The loaded fries from the grilled cheese cart in the Huataki Plaza. Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And like a nice, like not necessarily traditional pizza, but something with like ham and olives and mushrooms and like black olives and mushrooms and a bit of pineapple, some sweet to counteract the salty. Like yeah. No.
You have a refined palate, sir. Yeah. I like fruit.
It's all about flavor balance.
I don't like baked fruit. That's my whole thing about it. Like I like pineapple, I just don't like baked fruit.
Okay. No, so, I totally get that, yeah.
Apple crumbles and things like that. I love apples and whatever. I just don't like baked fruit. And everyone's like, but apple crumble, and I'm like, I don't like baked fruit. It doesn't. It's like if someone says I don't like pizza, and you're like, oh, but have you tried a barbecue? Have you tried a thing? And you're like, but I don't like pizza. It's not that I don't like barbecue. I don't like pizza as a thing.
The fruit, is it like a texture thing or just?
Yeah, I think it's just like soft, mushy.
That's
like
fair.
warm fruit.
Yeah.
Like
fair enough.
Some I don't like. I like the apple pie, but there might be some fruits, like baked fruits, that I just don't like. But I haven't had them probably, so
I don't like soft pears.
I've never had a pear.
That doesn't sound good.
I want them like just as they're getting ripe when they're like crisp.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Like
I've never had a pear, so I can't.
Green packing pears. Oh, yes.
Can we end this? Because my back is literally like caving in on it.
You know there's pillows right here.
Yeah, but like...
All right, cool. So now that we've fully turned the internet against us with our hot takes.
Honestly, yeah. So this was quite the episode. I feel like everything was good until we started getting into the PC thing. That's the only bit where people are going to be like, excuse me, but that's the whole point. It's an unpopular opinion, and we voiced our opinions on that take.
Look, I'm just going to end with, again, as a straight white man, I am going to go out of my way to be polite and like as unproblematic as possible.
It's the safe route.
Like,
actually,
I will hold, like if somebody is behind me, I'll hold the door open for them. I've never got a negative reaction to that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm like I work with women, I'm always very cognizant of personal space and like where I'm looking and all that kind of thing. Like I don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
So
that
yeah.
Okay, this is what the final thought I'm gonna leave with this.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously throughout the years, straight white men have been, the problem with whatever. Do you feel that you need to be condemned for that because you are a straight white man?
I don't feel that I've personally done anything to deserve condemnation.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know how many videos I see? They're like, this video is just for the girls, the gays, and the theys. And I'm just like, but like, not every single straight white man did something wrong. But
yeah,
everyone's just like, but for the girls, the gays, and the theys. And I'm just like, yeah, but like...
I mean, yeah, look, when it comes to media, like, let's talk about video games very briefly. There's been I'll call it a renaissance in recent years, like maybe the last 5-10 years or so, where like video game characters are more and more representing, women and people of color, and not just middle-aged straight white men with scraggly with like 5 o'clock shadow and dark pasts.
Yeah,
I'll say it. If there's a game where I can customize my character, I'm probably picking a female.
Yeah.
Their options are so much
Yes.
better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're so much better. Unless maybe if it's an MMORPG and I'm because like I'm in it, maybe I'm like role playing a little bit. I'll play as a male because it's easier.
Yeah.
For me.
Fair enough.
But for customization options, female.
Yeah.
Pretty much always.
Yeah. In games that give you that option, I will generally play a woman. Yeah. Just because like it feels more awesome.
Yeah.
So, like in an action game to do those things as a woman, like it just seems more badass.
See, I'm all for the inclusion of the lower things, but it shouldn't come at the exclusion of.
Bro.
Yeah, I will say, in those games that like give you romance options, I will play that character as a lesbian simply because I'm more comfortable romancing women than men. But
yes, I did that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 2 Assassin's Creed games I have played as the female option.
Yeah.
And
Bro,
I'm
being a Greek woman just kicking people off cliffs. Damn.
Oh, Cassandra was fantastic.
That was great.
Way better than Alexios.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels more awesome playing an action game as a female character.
Fair enough.
I don't know what it is that does it, but it is that. It just feels way better. And awesome.
My whole thing is just the inclusion of people shouldn't come at the exclusion of others.
And if the main character of a game is a gay Hispanic man, who has an effeminate boyfriend or whatever, I don't care. As long as the story is good, I'll play it.
Yeah.
Just give me a good story with memorable characters and solid gameplay, good visual, good graphics.
Fair enough.
That's all I want. I could not give 2 shits about which character I'm in control of. Just
Same.
give me a good game.
I mean, same with playing Valorant
That's
as
it.
well. With the characters, I picked the characters because I'm like, okay, those powers are good. I don't care what the character looks like. I've been playing
exactly.
as Jet, who came from South Korea, and
it's like I was playing Viper as well.
Yeah.
It was like I don't care.
I mean, in Siege, I'm mostly main Ashe just because I like her little door breaching grenade thingy.
Yeah.
You're an Ashe man. Ooh.
I like her. She's cool.
Disgusting.
I mean, I haven't played Siege in years,
Yeah.
so this is back year 1 where they had
12
characters.
You get a pass because I played Ashe in year 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that is our controversial, unpopular opinions episode. I think that was a good episode though, because
I enjoyed that.
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Yes. My voice hurts.
yeah, because you've been sitting up against a
wooden wall.
Yeah. But if you enjoyed that episode, please give us a like. Let us know some of your unpopular opinions down in the comments, and maybe we'll write back to you in a brief comment about where we stand on
Okay.
that. Make sure if you are checking out this content and you do like it to hit subscribe and turn on the bell because you'll get a notification every single time that we post on Friday. And if you are subscribing to that, then might as well follow our other social medias. We've got Twitter at ZeroFunction Pod and Instagram at the same.
I'm trying to keep up with the posting.
Yeah.
It's just remembering to do it.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And
We're getting there. We are. How's Spotify going?
we up?
We've got 6 episodes up currently.
Oh, sick. Nice.
So
you can check us out on Spotify too.
'Cause
At
this
Zero
is-
Function
I'll
Podcast.
probably have
What is-
3 up this coming week.
Cool. Because what is this now? 27? 20?
I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah,
27.
somewhere in the mid to late
Yeah, we've
20s.
been going for like,
27.
what, almost or just over 6 months?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
look
I
at us
wasn't
go.
there for all of it, but
Yeah, you were literally there
team.
for most of us.
I,
We only did 2 episodes without you, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
join like episode. I'm the Henry
So
Zabrowski of the podcast. It's funny because last podcast on the left, they're up to like fucking 400 something episodes, and
Jesus.
Henry it was Ben and Marcus for episode 1, and then Henry joined episode 2, and they still like introduce him as a special guest like
Wow.
like
good.
8 years later.
Wow.
It's just really funny.
Miss the
But anyway,
special
yep,
guest.
that's all I've got. Anything
All
to
right,
add?
cool.
No.
I mean,
Not really.
I'm just gonna say I enjoy these like just chatting episodes. Like,
Yeah.
it's a nice break from the structured content.
Yes.
So,
It's just an overload of information, you know. It's like, oh, my
Yeah.
brain.
and
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see what people prefer from us.
Yeah.
Like, because we could do this every week if people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing the structured research stuff, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the structured research because I learn about things that I obviously didn't know about and
Yeah.
things like that. But I'm not gonna lie, a 4-parter, I don't know if I can do that again. But-
not my fault.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's the thing, we do just chat and we derail so much.
And
So,
that's totally fine.
yeah. Right.
All right,
That's all from us. We shall see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.
later.
Guys, sync clap. Don't touch your thing.
Okay.
I saw you reach for that. And like,
I think so. He's so bad.